up, y'all? Welcome to another episode, or should I say another season of the CP Podcast. The podcast where we talk about the shit CP want to talk about, because the CP and CP brand and the CP, all that shit, we are back. And of course, there's like 4 of us in here now, because my beautiful co-host is expecting, and you all didn't know that. She's already announced it, but you all didn't know that because the podcast has been gone. I knew, couldn't tell nobody. Just want to let y'all know that y'all ain't figuring it out when I figured it out. Like, I'm a little bit more exclusive than y'all. But Maya, glowing, just, man. And on the screen, look at me, black. I keep telling y'all, all this motherfucker wear is black, black, black. But now y'all can see it. We got the new season 2 of Amir Cam.
Yeah.
Shout out to Amir, man.
In the cut.
Amir is not pregnant, by the way. Amir is not pregnant. He on the pill. So look. So we were just in here talking about baby stuff. You know what I'm saying? Maya, how you feeling?
I feel great.
You look great. You look like you just like
you
super like
she's shining, bro.
Yes, like shining, like new money is crazy. So that's dope. And we were talking about, you were thinking about having them close together, right? And I think that's a great idea. I know my kids are like 3 years apart. And I feel like that's like the most you should go is 3 years, I feel like, if you want to have your kids close together, right? And people, you got 2 little kids, and it will be hard. But we was talking about how, like, it changes so fast, and by the time it's not hard anymore, you miss the hard shit. That's almost like working out. It's almost like working out. It's like, it starts off, and it's, oh my God, I got to get up in the morning, I got to do this, and da-da-da. And then your body gets so, conformed to doing that shit to the point where it's like, it feel good. I'm getting up, making a bottle until you don't have to. And now you're like, oh man, I miss when they just needed me and had a boo-boo and a Band-Aid and that shit is gone. And now they like, Robux. We want Robux. It's like, for what? For being a fucking kid? Robux. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, so, you know, and then Amir was saying he not ready to have no kids yet.
No, I'm not. I'm not ready, guys.
People weren't ready to have you, man.
I know. Shout out to them though. I'm here. But, you know,
shout out to them.
They was playing that risk, you know.
Yeah, people be fucking, and that's just the bottom line. It happens. It's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I would rather have a cream pie baby than like a nut drizzle baby. You know what I'm saying? Like
it was intentional.
I just like, if I want to be like, yeah, instead of like, oh, I got a little bit in you. I feel like them little bit in yous are like murderers.
Accident.
Yeah. Them the ones who be like, yeah, I'm here to kill. Like, you wasn't supposed to be the sperm that made it. But if you like blast your whole load in there, then like the best of you is like, move, evil niggas. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? And then
fight their way through.
Yes. And so I just feel like, man, yeah, man. You can always tell who a good cream pie baby is. You know what I'm saying? They got like a big ass head, like, yeah. They walk around confident and shit. And, you know, the law offices of cream pie baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dr. Cream Pie Baby. How you doing, Dr. Cream Pie Baby? You know, we have our correspondent, the astronaut, Cream Pie Baby. He's on the moon now. Well, we're here now on the moon. Cream Pie Baby here. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But that's dope though. That's dope. You look up, man, and it's like you realize when you look at kids, man, you remember that we're all just kids. And we just some old ass kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. Like, there is no such thing as an adult, for real. Because it's always like, put it like this, maybe adult should be like the oldest, grayest version of you. That is your adult.
Well, they say that you become the adult when you're the last generation. So like when a man's father dies, that's when they say he gets really emotional, because it's like, oh, I'm next. Or a woman's mother dies, it's like, oh, I'm the one they go to. You know?
Right. You become like the matriarch almost.
It's scary.
Yeah.
That's why people freak out. Like when a man's father dies, like he goes into like a year or 2 long state. Like, he just has to get his stuff together.
Damn. Yeah, and I know some homies who had their pops die, and I think that's like, it's very interesting that you say that. It does bring about a level of I gotta handle this shit now.
There's no one to go to. There's no one for
Yeah,
advice.
yeah. I feel like fatherhood for me kicked that gear. Like when I became a dad, and you see your kid, and you're like, all right, cool, you can't fucking do nothing for yourself, and then you start helping them do stuff for themselves, and then it's like that definitely brings about. I never had nothing to be like I got to go home. I was always like I'm in the streets, not just in the streets in a bad way, but I'm just out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just out. I'm gonna be out till the late morning. I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be over here. I'm gonna be over there. We over here talking shit. You know what I'm saying? We just out. And I think that having kids is like I gotta get to the crib.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it a lot, and that I'm gonna have to maybe pretend to be a lot much better person than I really am, just so they have a good example.
Wait.
Jesus
Pretend to-
Christ.
Yeah, I gotta stop cursing.
Well,
I can't
you know
be
what?
eating bad
I have a
food.
theory. I have a theory, right? Because yeah, that little minute of freedom that when you leave your parents' house before you become somebody's parents, that's like where you're at, Amir, right now.
Yeah.
That's like the him of it. You're at the him, and some people just be up here like I like it up here, be like fuck it, and then they just stay up here, right? But it's like you at your parents' house, you can't fuck, you can't curse, you can't smoke, you can't drink. Then you leave out of their house, and now you're free, and you can fuck and smoke and curse and drink. And then, those 4 things make kids. And then now you got kids and you can't fuck, smoke, drink, or curse. You become like you're back to you know what I'm saying? So you got that small little window. You're right. I be having to smoke out the window and go on the balcony and it be cold. And I'd be like, oh, and then I'd be like feeling bad if my kids knock on the window. Like we see, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm not, oh, fuck, oh. You know what I'm saying? It's like, cause you just wanna, nobody's ever gonna look at you like that kind of hero.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You be like, oh my God, like you're like, and they're just like, you're the greatest and you're the prettiest. And you're just like, Jesus Christ, kid. First of all, get a life. Second of all, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so there is like a little bit of, you gotta hold on to that as long as you can. I think that parents who ditch out on being in that part of their kid's life are not only doing the kid a disjustice, but you are missing out on one of the wonders of what this life is about. Like, it's an opportunity to have a different set of emotions upgraded onto you. It's like, oh, I'm downloading these new emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's dope, dog. And and then the fact that they come from fucking is dope too. They just bring it all full circle. Like the fun. You know what I'm saying? Cream pie, baby. Anyway, so as usual, Maya has things that are possibly gonna fuck our days up.
I don't think it will. I mean, honestly, the way everything's going, can you really fuck people's days up anymore? You just turn on the phone and it's already bad enough.
I agree. I saw, y'all see on Twitter that little girl got electrocuted by that refrigerator.
No.
Huh?
Oh my God, that shit was crazy. Twitter is just, it'd be like porn, political, porn, disturbing, porn, gospel.
Did she like touch the outlet or something?
It was so it was like she was trying to get an ice cream out.
Oh my God.
And it was like a metal cage around it, and I guess the plug in the back came out of the wall and was now like just exposed by the metal.
Oh.
And so her dad was talking up by the register, and she got on the thing, she's looking in it, and you see her just like, you think she's looking in it, but you're like, maybe she don't see nothing she want. But no, nigga, she's getting voltage. Like, and she just like sitting there and she just can't let go. And then you just see her just drop. And everybody like, what the fuck going on? And then they find out, but it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. So you see shit like that, that could fuck up your day. That definitely fucked my day up. But I'm excited because I know what we're going to talk about today besides this shit. But
OpenAI. ChatGPT.
Right. ChatGPT, OpenAI. Now, if y'all remember,
I knew he was gonna talk about this.
Man, because
it's everywhere, bro.
Number one, it's everywhere. But number two, as always, we were on the fucking like the precipice of this shit, right? talking about the guy at Google who was saying that it was dangerous coming from AI, talking about Lambda back in the day. We really discussed this in season 1. So it's dope that not only is it coming to the forefront, but shit is happening. Like fucking, what is Chat GPT?
We can try it. So basically,
We about to try it?
you can try this. This is the actual Chat GPT right here.
Oh
You
shit.
gotta make an account.
Let me do. I think I have an account.
Oh,
I just want to show everyone see my business.
It's literally everywhere, bro. No matter where I go, it's like, this was made with ChatGPT. This was done with ChatGPT. Like, bro, like what?
What?
Because they're using it as, I don't even like, the thing about AI is like it's not used for just like one thing. Or like an assistance. It's becoming more of like a something in the forefront of things nowadays. Like our phones have AI, obviously, and artificial intelligence, and there's AI and programs that help us do things, learn things, or help us do things better. Now it's being like the tool is separate from it assisting something, and now it's a tool that you can use to do almost anything in creative space or anything like that. And that's where it's becoming like kind of weird because I know you've seen the stuff where people taking people's voices and then like making music and all the other stuff that goes on with it, or just creating art, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about a lot of this AI, as far as we have it right now, is that it's like a hack. It's not like it's creating, it's going online and finding what other people have done and like cutting and pasting.
Mhm.
So as a writer, ChatGPT is a total hack. It's not original.
Yep.
But then you're like, well, how many working writers are just hacks? And that's where you get into
Right. That's when you feel like, well, damn, the human sarcasm and human copycatting is almost Chat GPT in a way.
Somewhat, but it's more like with the AI thing, it just takes what's there and then it kind of tries to make something new, but you can still see the references of what the original parts are. Whereas like we can take things from somebody else and put our own spin on it. Something that makes it more original.
So I think that the lack of an own spin is what separates this from being a sentient kind of thing.
Yeah, well, see, that's the interesting thing about sentience, and we talked about this a little bit with Lambda, but sentience means it has meant up until now that it can pass a Turing test, and a Turing test is when someone like me and you talks to the robot, and we can't tell the difference as to whether or not it's a robot. But really, what you're looking at is whether we can tell the difference, not whether it is sentient. It's testing the tester.
Wow. Okay.
So I can we'll link at the bottom of this for the YouTube. This guy called David Block goes into it. He's talking about breaking the Nazi code and Turing and everything like that. But it's really getting into the fact that we don't know who we're talking to, and we haven't for a while.
Yeah. I also feel like in the past year things have gotten really. It just seemed to quicken up. Like got really advanced really fast.
It did, and this popped out. When was this? November of last year, where we introduced
I think they like
GPT to the public.
something around there. Because when this Chat GPT popped off, and then the other things, or the Open AI or whatever they're called, like they all kind of dropped at the same time, and then it was just like boom. It's like, oh, submit your pictures. You can make AI versions of yourself and do these things and write all this stuff. It all happened at once. And then it's just continuously every day is like it's something.
I remember that people had like an alien version of you, a version of this.
It was
but then it happened at the same time where everything, everywhere, all at once was telling people that there's 1,000 versions of you anyway. So it kind of was fitting into that
philosophy.
Yeah, it was kind of like feeding into it. But then again, I keep saying this idea of the multiverse just came out of nowhere.
Well,
over the last maybe 10 years, I'll say that.
Or like 20. That's okay. So it comes from every choice you make, there's a universe in which you made another choice. So however many choices, and it branches off through that.
Is that true?
Well, you can't test it because even science doesn't even claim to be able to test anything outside of our universe. You ask a physicist, can you test this? It's philosophy. It's not science.
Universe. So we've always been taught that the universe was the universe, and it was so vast.
Yeah.
Now the universe is contained in a pocket of other universes that is pocketed into a multiverse.
We don't know if that's true. That's another philosophy.
Okay, we don't know if that's true, but we do know that what we were considering as the universe was actually quote unquote our galaxy. A lot of people got the two
Before.
confused.
Yeah.
So now that we know that our galaxy sits in a bubble cluster of thousands of other galaxies,
Yeah.
people are now saying, well, that's the multi universe because each one of those could have a version of you there.
In theory, it's like monkeys typing Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
That just by randomness they'll eventually type Shakespeare. So maybe that's true.
Wait a minute, what you mean monkeys typing Shakespeare?
Like you put enough monkeys in a room and eventually they will type Shakespeare just by typing randomly.
Nah, so somebody's gonna spell the word Shakespeare on the page.
They'll type out Hamlet. Well, that's the old saying.
What do you mean? You would see Hamlet's name on the paper through all the bullshit that they type, or
just randomness? Like
I wonder what the odds are of that.
Right, like that's crazy.
Well, that's the same odds of there's another you in another part of the universe because everything can just keep happening and the universe is so vast and expansive.
But then again, no, it is not. That's what we keep saying. The universe, but it can't be because the universe is now contained, right? We have I'm talking about the galaxy.
The galaxy, yeah.
Okay,
we have
so
our
the
Milky
universe,
Way.
The universe, as we think of it, is our version of everything, and then the multiverse is different layers of everything on top of each other, also existing.
So
yeah, it's like bubbles.
So our planets live in. We're in a galaxy?
We're in a galaxy. I think we're in like the Milky Way galaxy.
We're in the Milky
Way.
Like
and that's just consisted of the planets that we have.
The planets that we have and that ones that we know of. And so there are hundreds of planets inside of our galaxy right now, and we're starting to see more and more of them light years away, but they're still inside of the fucking...
Oh, so they're still inside the Milky Way, essentially.
Yeah, our shit.
Okay. So it's not even... So I was thinking when... Because I don't remember everything from class, but it was like galaxy. So galaxy is not just our planets. It's all the other stuff that exists inside of this galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we go zoom even further out, then that would be
another galaxy. That's like it's like this. Put it like this. We're like imagine you got like a box of nerds, right? And this is a bunch of little nerds in a thing. And we are one nerd. Inside of one nerd is everything that we know about all the planets that we have. But then we're sitting right next to another nerd that supposedly has a bunch of planets inside of it and its own sun or suns, and then that's next to another one that has similar makeup but can have completely different compounds together to create what they know as their planets. And it's like, and so it's so crazy that it's like, first of all, we are a pixel inside of one of the dots that's a color.
Yeah, so this is the map of the known universe as we know it, and we can only see as far as time has traveled. So all of those dots are galaxies, and it does kind of look like brain patterns.
Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, then zoom out, and then zoom out again, and then zoom out again, and then zoom out. It's like an infinite zoom
and
out.
So us being alone is not even... This is what they're priming us. This right here is the lube for the thinkers. Like, this is what they're greasing us up with. Like, dog, look, just understand that we're in one of these dots. So imagine if we could begin to communicate with everybody, bro, this shit could get nuts and fun.
That's what they say about the speed of light will immediately limit our ability to communicate with these people. But it could, and now there's another thing that hasn't been proven. If we're a simulation, then the speed of light could be a natural limit to us ever exploring too far.
Right. Well, it's just the speed of light could be like the edge of the program. It's like there is no way to...
You can't... Yeah. We can't... well, we could send a drone.
But it's like even the idea of the drone is considered to be inside of the simulation. That's like a PlayStation disc trying to have more information than what's on the disc. It's like, dog, the disc is the disc. So I don't know if you think that we could spin faster, but even if you spin faster, the information that's on the disc is the limit. And there's somebody who was way bigger than us that can take this disc out and put another disc in with more information. You know what I'm saying? Like, theoretically, that's what it feels like. And that's crazy. So...
I don't even know where we are on this map. We must
Man,
be kind of in the middle.
I know.
Because that's what we see. We see from every direction out.
And these
So.
funky motherfuckers want my taxes. You see this shit? Like, no, y'all better go tax the everybody. They be living in this bitch, living, and I gotta pay to live, and all these motherfuckers around here.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Chat GPT this week, but they're coming out with a lot of things on these
Extraterrestrial,
UFOs. Yeah, and they're like, we might be.
And it's starting to be like we're on the verge.
Yeah.
But
what?
Hold on. Okay, look, we can get on that another week. But hasn't it felt in history like the 70s and the 80s? Every decade has felt like they were getting closer and closer. Like the people who were into that felt like it's here. Like E.T. came out, revolutionized. People were like, it looks like shit, which it did. E.T. looked like shit, but it changed the way people were thinking different. And it was like, that was the 80s, and they were ready for it in the 80s. People were ready for the pet alien, and you could feed it the, you know what I'm saying, Reese Pieces. So I just feel like they keep fucking with us, man. Like, we never go. They just edging us.
We could ask Chat GPT.
Okay, let's ask it.
Will we meet alien life?
So you can just ask ChatGPT shit. So this is like the new Google.
But it shouldn't be used like Google.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and there's a really good video that we should link at the bottom. It's Michio Kaku talking to Joe Rogan, and I think he explains in this video that this doesn't know what's right or wrong on the internet. ChatGPT only knows what's on the internet. It can't really sort through and say this is good information or bad information. It says, as of my last knowledge update in September 2021, that was a while ago, there is no confirmed evidence of extraterrestrial life. However, the possibility of discovering alien life in the future remains an active area of scientific research and exploration.
Yeah, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, that's not gonna cut it, because they doing shit every month. Chat GPT.
And that the thing about like how you act is like the new Google is how people are trying to treat it, and that's what makes it a little, that makes it a scary thing, because then it's another like platform that could be used for misinformation or just baffling a bunch of BS. And people will take it as like, well, it's AI, it's sourcing everything from da da da, and it's
That's
like,
crazy.
Well, check your sources, man.
Yeah, because it can't check sources. It just knows that it's out there. What happens if you regenerate response? It's a completely different response.
Oh, it's giving like it's literally like defending itself right now.
Mm-hmm. It's like a disclaimer.
Yeah.
As an AI, I still don't know. So I heard y'all talking shit about me. Just to be clear, it's like, God damn, just that quick. It's like came back against what Amir is saying about it.
The existence of extraterrestrial life remains speculative. Okay. Is the government hiding information on UFOs?
Well, they don't call them UFOs anymore.
UAPs, yeah. Is it unidentified aerial phenomena? Yeah, UAPs. Question mark?
So I think I gotta scroll down a bit.
There is no conclusive evidence to support that the government is hiding information on unidentified aerial phenomena or UFOs. However, it is true that there have been instances where government have classified certain information related to military encounters with unidentified objects for national security reasons. In recent years, there has been an increased interest in the transparency regarding UAPs. The United States government, in particular, has publicly acknowledged the existence of UAP encounters and has established programs to investigate and document these incidents. For example, the U.S. Department of Defense has initiated the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, or the UAP, to assess and gather data on UAP sightings reported by the military personnel. Basically, they're going to fucking kill these dudes and be like, what do you know? Okay. So I get it. AI is smart. We don't go down the UFO path. and AI is a little jerk a little bit. But what about how they getting people's songs, or how they making these fake Drake songs?
Yeah, let's look up that. I mean, you can do that. People who write music the same way that that I write a script or we write scripts. They have a formula they can follow and they can do that. Amir probably knows a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the way they've been doing it, before it was like you can type in something and then it'll try to sound like that person, essentially
Hmm.
like their voice, like just their characteristic of their voice. And this was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, maybe even
Oh
four.
shit!
And it was bad though. Like they were making memes out of it. It'll be like SpongeBob, and it'd be saying some crazy stuff. Like
Right?
SpongeBob wouldn't curse, but they had him
Yeah,
cursing, and it almost sounded like if you threw it in like a little part, it sounded like him.
yeah.
So then that was some years ago. Now what's going on is that they've been able to do these things where they can train the AI to sound like somebody else. And since they have so much music out, there's so many different sources for them to pull from. They can try to get your emotion, they try to get how you sound.
Yep.
But then they're not even typing it in anymore. They're just going in the studio and I'll record something and I'll make it sound like how I would want Drake or Kanye or The Weeknd or whatever. I'll make it sound like how I think they would sound, and I'll make some bars that sound like something they would do, right? And then I would take that audio and I would put it into this whatever AI software they're using, and then it'll come back and it'll sound like them, but it's my flow. Now,
So okay, now here, okay, go ahead.
and then the most recently, I saw Timbaland do this, right? And everybody knows Timbaland. Everybody loves Timbaland for his production. He's regarded as one of the best. But what he did with the thing, he was like, I always wanted to collaborate with Biggie. That's what he said. I've always wanted to collab with Biggie. I never got a chance to collab with Biggie. But we've been cooking up some with this AI thing, and they played a song, and it sounds like Biggie. It's just that it's not Biggie. You know what I'm saying? And
I
they just
gotta,
recently did that. And me personally,
I gotta hear that.
I don't like any of that
I
kind of
gotta
stuff.
hear that. Timbaland and Biggie. Here's my thing. Here's what I imagine at a first thought about how I could see this working out. Okay, so they're training the AI, and you're right. These people have so much music out.
Mhm.
So what they do is they categorize words and they gather the words, right? So Kanye has said the maybe 78,000 times in his songs. So they have the all the does. And then they
Mhm.
got bitch, they got all your bitch, and it's doing it fast. Now, as it begins to put these bars together based on whatever emotion it wants to invade, it might use the 803, and that might be the one that goes and it's like the inflection, because you put out so many words. Some of them you say all the time, some of them in chants, and some of them they have live concert. You know how somebody do an unplugged
Mhm.
and you hear that. My question is this: somebody like Drake can get pissed, but what about these people who've been selling their catalogs for $200 and $300 million? Now your catalog, if these big AI companies can start purchasing, let's say like we want new music from the Beatles, and you can't say that it's not them because somebody owns their catalog, and it's like I'm using their catalog to create new music based on what they would have said, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And this new Beatles album about to drop, man, and I bought their catalog for 78 million back in whenever, so I'm doing it and I'm getting the royalties, and I'm going to tour the fucking holograms, and it's just going to be some shit.
Yeah. No, that's the one thing that's the scary part about it is that, yeah, when it comes to ownership and stuff like that, and the fact that you can't really, there's no laws in place to really keep that kind of stuff from happening in general.
Well, there's copyright laws. If they
Yeah.
sold their catalog, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But someone like if you're a writer and ChatGPT goes and uses your words, like people are suing because they're like, this is my play or this is my whatever, and ChatGPT found it on the internet and put it into its thing. Now you can sue for copyright.
Of course, and so,
Yeah.
but they're gonna make so much money that they just got to be ready for that. And that's a probably like a 2 in 10 occurrence, and then probably 1 in 100 would follow through on the lawsuit to actually get it. And then that's and more people probably would eventually, but I think that for the reward outweighs the risk totally. My thing is, over the last few years, we've been hearing about how like a lot of these artists have been worth more dead than alive. So now we play with that type of conspiracy where it's like, well, what about a rapper that, somebody like Pop Smoke, for example? I don't know his situation and all that, but if somebody wanted to make money off of Pop Smoke, they could generate AI Pop Smoke. And if an artist didn't want to cooperate or follow whatever, what could stop somebody from killing them off and then replacing their stuff with AI before people even realize that it's not even them?
Oh, it's just the laws. Because if they haven't sold their catalog, the murder is illegal. So from what I've been
Oh, of
hearing,
course, murder is illegal,
yeah,
but I mean, but people get murdered. People
yeah,
somebody got
people.
murdered 15 seconds ago.
No, I know, but to do that in a business environment and then to try to actually make money off it, because this money is going through like a secondhand account. It's going through like PayPal or whatever. It's not going to go directly to you.
Right, but what I'm saying is I'm talking about like what they're how they talk about evil record executives and how they don't care about the artists and how somebody like a Nipsey Hussle, you know, or a Tupac, right, where all out of the studio, some of their messaging could bring an uproar into the community and make people realize and think differently. But inside the studio, their music is worth so much, and they got so like to eliminate that outside the studio persona and then continue that inside the studio cash flow. It's something that is what I'm saying is that this represents a new avenue for crime in a new way. We already had
Yeah.
one with the way shit was.
I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible that someone could, someone could go through that effort to do that. Um, and then, but in my opinion, that would be like an outlying event. Like you would also find a music executive that would kill their client anyway every once in a
Hmm.
while because they're trying to go to a different client or whatever.
Hmm.
So, from generally what I've understood of how they're trying to keep this down and trying to keep a keep a tight lid on this is they're going to try to do it through the laws that are in place because I don't see that our Congress, our legislator is going to be able to draft new
Hell
laws.
nah. And these Drake AI songs are kind of hard. Have y'all heard of Drake AIs?
Yeah, we can play it. I can play it here, but
It's possible it could get striked even though it's not
Right.
real.
So yeah, we'll stripe it for the YouTube. YouTube, we'll probably put some links down or something so y'all can check it out.
Yeah.
it's just for the Patreon.
It's a Drake AI full album.
People are making full thing like people are just pushing out stuff. It's all over the place. So they just like they'll make then the thing is it takes so much effort for real to really do that. And they're putting all that effort into doing that so they can be like some publicity or something like that. And then it's like, dog, these are your raps that you basically gave away to a program.
Yeah, but
Like,
but the bitches is sweet. Shit. But here go the thing though. Two things I want to say. Number one, if you're Drake and you like that, do you take it?
I'm gonna be honest. That song sounded like every other Drake song to
But
me.
that's what I was gonna say. The second thing I was gonna say is that it sounds like an older Drake.
because it's not you the
It's like
person
a
the person that's making that is not as good as
it's
Drake.
not as good
That's
as Drake.
why. Yeah.
Right. So it's like the wordplay is kind of like simple.
It's super simple.
This like it's like it's like
That's what I'm saying. So it's like it's almost like the person is acting as an AI. This is what I think Drake would rap like,
right,
and I'm
right.
going to use his
and
voice.
the AI is just smoothing it over.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
and
see,
even
the
then, it's like
problem
the thing is like, all right, this the thing with the beat thing is that you don't have to use AI to do a beat. Anybody can make a because they make templates of how to make beats like
Right.
a specific person. So they be like, they'll put Metro's tag on it because everybody can just grab it and then be like, Metro made the beat, and then they'll go in and make a song or whatever over a beat, and then be like, yeah, Drake, and then like that. Even when I listened to it, I was like, y'all can't tell this is not him because it's just not good either. But there's certain distinctive parts about it that would be like, if you're actually listening to Drake or you're a fan of The Weeknd or whatever, you'll know that this is terrible. Like it,
Right.
in comparison to the stuff that they've made.
Or the good stuff that they make. I'm sure they have like stuff that, on the whole album, there's probably a few songs that aren't very good. It's like everybody else's album's kind of throwaway. But yeah.
But even then, it'll be better quality than that.
So this is what apparently this thing called Voiceify. You can make high quality AI covers in seconds.
Really?
Clone your own voice. Oh boy.
Let me see about this. Yeah, with Google.
So yeah, the whole thing is growing up. I feel like it's a attack on rap though. be completely honest, because that seems to be where everybody's focus is. I haven't seen anybody else talk about like AI uses for any other genre of music per se. It just seems to be like rap, R&B mostly.
Let's see. Drake model, Juice World model, Ariana Grande model,
The Weeknd, Michael
Kanye.
Jackson, we've seen. They use his voice to put him on like rap songs and stuff. X, Travis Scott, Eminem.
A lot of pop. So they have these people who they have enough of their voice. It's funny, like 10 years ago, I got this job, this gig, and I was terrible at it. But they would give people birthday birthday messages in the voice of a particular celebrity. And that's exactly what we had to do is like, clip out this, and this, and then write a program where it's this word plus this word or this variation plus this variation. So the tech has come a long way since then.
So I'd be like, happy birthday to you from Beyonce because Houston. Yeah, that's crazy. So, oh shit.
Oh, you can get a Trump model. Yeah, it's mostly rap and pop stars. They just don't have other people. Ed Sheeran model.
I'm gonna tell you. I don't know if I can do a Trump. They're very good. I tell you.
I've seen like they done the political leaders and stuff. I've seen the memes with Joe Biden and all that kind of stuff like that.
I've seen Obama. Obama's funny. I'm mad that Joe Biden has more than Obama, more uses than Obama. But I guess
Because
he's
it'd be
president.
just this website. There's so many.
Well, because it's so
websites.
funny to use him though. It's like they're joking around with using him.
Yeah.
Look, bottom line is he always stop in his sentence and start at something else. How do you feel about the schools? You study. Look, recesses are good. If so you'd be like, bro, what are you talking about?
I do art. I'm a painter. And so there's this thing called Midjourney that's going to put me out of business. I mean, it's like I'm already out of business. I'm not trying to be a portrait artist.
It can't paint. It could just make something that look like paint or whatever, or draw things that look like it and stuff like that. I mean, obviously it's getting better because it's just pulling stuff that every other artist has already done,
Yeah,
and
it
then putting it
pulls.
together. Even the thing like when people were doing the I forgot the name of the app, but when everybody was doing the thing, when they had all those pictures of them like in these different forms and all that stuff like that, you could see like some of them had the signatures of the artist, like the style that they stole it from and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if I'm going to play with a painting, like I'm going to do a painting, I'm going to play with it. First off, not all of them are good, which is fine. Not all of them are good here either. But the thing is, it takes them a second to do it, and it would take me like a few days to figure out I made a bad painting and start again.
I mean, I think that the people who really want to bank on AI like that are going to realize that they're going to run into the same kind of shit all over again, because there's not going to be that sense of unnecessarily originality. Like, you keep pulling all these things and you're going to end up making things that are redundant or necessarily feel lifeless because there's no real inspiration from it, because you just take exactly what it gives, adjust it just a little bit, and then put it out. And then everything that you do is the same formula. And this thing is getting smarter, but it only is going to be as good as what you input into it.
Well, that's true. It's only as good as what you input. And that goes back to what we were saying of, is there an audience that can tell the difference? Like with that Drake song, you were like, that's not a good Drake song, but you're a connoisseur.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the general audience, they're not connoisseurs of art.
Right.
It's not taught to them, either in writing or in painting or in music. They'll just, or in food. Like they just will take whatever's available.
But to your point earlier though, are those the kind of consumers that you're concerned about with your business? Like, so as a real artist, do you want people who don't understand real art to be the reason why your art sells? Like, do you want to be the person that sells them the art that they don't care about, or does that strike a chord with you that you want to sell your art to people who like the art? You see what I'm saying? Because there should be, it's like there's a Target, then there's a dollar store. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like they have two different fan bases and two different customers, and sometimes there's overlap, right? But for the most part, if you need something from Target, you got to go to Target. You can't go to the dollar store for that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I look at it as it pertains to art, like especially with comedy. Like, I'm not worried about it trying to do comedy. I think what it could do is somebody could take my voice and then say a joke that they think I would say, and that's cool. And if I like it, I'm snatching that bitch. Be like, yeah, I did say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can you do? So
No, that's true. It's just a matter of volume. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants those real connoisseurs in the audience. Everybody wants, comedians want comedians to appreciate what they're doing.
mhm.
But
It's just
there's just
that you
not
think the
enough.
push of it being to the point where they get enough people to not care, because if we can get it close enough to what we were trying to make it like in the first place, then
Mhm.
enough people won't care. Is that what you think the push could go to? Because I feel like there's a stance of this supposed AI taking all these jobs kind of thing, and there's this fear of it going on and doing all these things like that. And I think the fear is so much stronger than what the AI can actually do at this current point. Obviously,
Mhm.
everybody's just like, this is the worst it'll ever be. And you can say that about anything when it comes to tech. It's the worst it's ever gonna be, bro. Like we continuously get better with anything that comes technology wise. Like this iPhone that I have right now, this is the worst the iPhone is gonna be. The next one's gonna be better, and then the next one's gonna be better.
I don't know. When they took out the headphone jack, that was
Well,
kind
no,
of
it
made me
can't be
mad.
the worst the iPhone is ever gonna be, right? Because the worst the iPhone is ever gonna be is gonna be the first one, right? Because that
But
one is
that's what in that current. I'm saying in that current state. You see what I'm saying? So whatever the new thing is, in that current state, this is the worst it's going to be from this point on.
You're
It'll never
saying
be any. We don't regress. We only continue to go forward. Is what I'm saying.
you're saying like we're now the youngest we'll ever be.
Yeah, essentially, and that's what that's
that
the thing
kind
that
of. Well, no,
yeah.
we're still not the youngest that we'll ever be.
No, that
We're the
we will
youngest.
ever
We're
be
the
and
youngest
going
we'll ever
forward.
be again.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
the youngest we'll ever be again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so with that little again is what that phone phrase needs to be the worst phone ever, because really in general, when the first iPhone came out, it was the best thing ever.
Mhm.
And we've gotten so far from that is literally the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's
To
what I meant. And again, like this is the worst the phone will be again. Like each one, like what I'm saying is every iteration that goes forward will be better than the last one.
This is like, okay, so can we say this? This is the new floor.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with AI, every day, whatever it gets upgraded,
Yep.
it's a new floor.
It's a new
The ceiling
floor.
has
The
yet to
ceiling-
be reached.
Yeah, there is no ceiling.
But I feel like that's the case with most of the things that we use on a day-to-day basis anyway. The things continue to get better. In some parts of it may get worse. And just
Right.
like with anything else, I feel like same shit with AI, some parts of it do get worse. The fear is the part that's pushing people to be like, I need to look into this. I need to do this, because it's a thing of like, it's gonna take your jobs. Like the writers are on strike.
Mhm.
And some of them are saying like AI, like seriously, like AI can't do what we do. But the execs don't give a fuck because it's money on the line,
Can
and
I
they don't
tell
want
you?
to. They're
Can I
like,
tell you
AI
the
wants to do
issue?
this.
AI can't do what I'm a writer. I'm in the WGA. AI can't do what everybody can do, but a lot of lazy shows have made it to where it's like, I think AI could write 4 fucking seasons of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, or Supernatural. Remember that show?
You know what I'm
They
saying?
could
It's
absolutely
like
write Supernatural.
it's one of those things where it's like, unfortunately, our lack of creativity and our laziness creates these patterns that can easily be fucking traced, because people steal the idea and make another one all the time.
Mhm.
Right? There's always another, people are always taking that. You don't go to China. They're like AI people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like their whole model is AI. Right? I think that's what's scary. Like, like shows like this show I just got done working on with Natasha Rothwell, genius show. I don't think that can be duplicated through AI because it's through her experience, right? But what's scary is Game of Thrones could be written by AI, because it doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. All of it is imagination. And as we saw with the last season of the real Game of Thrones, you could it was shit. It was like somebody came in with knowledge of the world and just created an ending because George R.R. Martin was taking too long. So shows like that where things don't exist and fairy tale and all of that, the money is running out to trust a George R.R. Martin to write a 1,002-page book so that we can adapt, versus going to this chat GPT and being like, based on what you know about this story, where do you see it ending? right? And then we get that one. All right, cool. Let's ask it again tomorrow. And then we come back and get a different answer. Come back and get a different answer. Now we compile what we want to compile and fucking boom. Right? And it's like, that's what's really scary. And I hate to say it like that because, but like, this is how, like Maya said, a person in my job as a writer, in Maya's job as a writer, this is how we can see AI can creep in. Because now it's a synthetic imagination. And since imagination is quantifiable anyway, based on how you want to perceive it, and nobody can tell you that your imagination is wrong, then having an artificial one becomes just as good. It's like you can't tell your kid that they don't have an imaginary friend. Like, they see it, right? These audiences can fall in love with a story that AI wrote, especially if they are adapted enough to track it from season 1 to season 5. Like, I've watched shows that are shittily written that it's like, well, I'm invested. And then I'm just gonna follow whatever pattern that they got me going on. And so, man, I hate that I'm even saying that out loud because it's scary to even think about that.
We got to teach people how to view art because
Mm-hmm.
that needs to be a class. And everyone thinks like there are art critics,
Mm-hmm.
and there are people, a lot of the better art critics, like with culture and with literature, they've had to read a lot of literature, had to read about the life story of the writer, have to read about the history of the writer. Maybe he served in, like Hemingway served in the First World War, served in wars, and so his story is coming from reality. And so you have to actually teach people how to discern meaning from fluff.
I agree. And you know where that comes from? And let me know if y'all agree. This is my opinion. I know I get stronger in my opinion. This season, I want to make sure that I address that something is my opinion versus being like, this is what it is, right? I'm not perfect. Since we were kids in school, art was an elective.
Mm-hmm.
And it taught us that it wasn't as important as all the other shit. Like, your parents didn't look at your art grade like that.
Mhm.
Like, the school didn't have the art budget like that. Like, you know, the art teacher was always stressed out, no materials and all, right? What happens is we were conditioned to not appreciate art. And so what happens is has become an elective to society.
Mm.
Art becomes like a thing that you visit, a thing that is a day trip to be real. It's like, and it, you know, the artists, we kind of get put into the category of non-essential people with this kind of you know, not what we need to survive thing. Where I will remind you, this is what's gonna fuck people up. Art is the only thing. Now, you need mathematics, you need science, you need chemistry, all of these things to be able to develop art the correct way. But art is the only thing that there is. Like, don't believe me? Go to fucking Egypt and look at the hieroglyphs because that is art that they left behind. See, the art is in the work, the art is in the verbiage, the art is in the landscape. Like, everything is art. That's why things are beautiful. We follow these patterns from nature about how to cluster things. Everything is beautiful because of art. And people act like the artistic people are these marvels, right? Like, oh, Steven Spielberg, oh my God. Oh, and it's like, no, like, these are people who went against the bullshit that y'all want to go with, and they didn't forget to keep their inner child alive. And it's like, there's not a lot of people fighting for that, right? That's why the WGA is on strike. That's why the fucking SAG is gonna go on strike pretty soon. If these negotiations don't go well, because it's like people are sick of everything that you enjoy about life comes from art, but then you treat it like it's not shit.
The way the industry is going now, the producers are getting a lot more power too. And so a lot of the artists, someone told me the DGA was going to go on strike too, that they can just swap out directors, swap out writers, swap out actors, and it's just producers that are making the decisions, the money men.
Well,
Yeah.
yes and no, right? Because they're not stupid. They want this shit to be good. the directors that have the reputations that have been doing it are the ones that you need to pull a certain vision to life, or else it's not going to look like what you think it's going to look like. The problem with that is, and then we have AI directors. You know what I'm saying? That can strike the green screen behind you, do the superimposing of the computer graphics, and film you at the same time.
I mean, it's gonna happen. Where did I see the AI beer video, beer commercial?
Oh, I saw that. I saw like a little snippet of it.
While we looking for that, I want to make an announcement too. I'm shooting my first comedy special in Atlanta on June 4th at the Atlanta Comedy Theater Underground.
Ooh.
It's a very, very big deal because this is my hour. This could be on Netflix. It could be on HBO. I'm not sure yet where we're going to sell it. It could be premium YouTube. It doesn't matter. This hour is coming out. Y'all about to get what y'all been asking for. So, yeah, Atlanta, you want to be there. It's going to be free. I just want the crowd to be people who like me and want to hear my shit. You know why it's not good? Because they don't want to make it good right now. They are playing around with the idea. But see, let's go back to that and look at what's important, right? That house structure is important. Like those are humanoid people. Some of those shots from back far look like, you know what I'm saying, real stuff. And it's like if they fine tuned it, right, and made all of that Pepsi instead of whatever, and it like dog, that could be some real shit. You saw
The
somebody
hands are
that you know?
fucked up.
The
Look at
hands, they cannot do hands right.
I
But
shouldn't
you,
have said that. We can bleep that out.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, their hands are crazy.
He's got like two hands going on.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, those dudes fucking deep throating that big ass beard look crazy too. That's wild.
Now, the good thing I will say about AI technology is I don't think it's going to replace real artists. It'll make real artists try harder, but I think it will replace a lot of lawyers and a lot of people in the medical profession.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be good because lawyers are really expensive.
Well, here's the thing: lawyers are really expensive, and like I always say, first of all, our first interaction about AI was about me being upset that McDonald's workers were real people, and how I wanted AI to do that because I felt like we talked about this, and I'm happy that that's coming to fruition because these are certain jobs where I don't need someone's bad day. No, listen.
You have to deal with people's good and bad days. You have to deal with
Listen,
other people.
Do you want someone having a bad day on your heart surgery? You understand what I'm saying? Like
But it's a sandwich.
It can be okay.
There's
Fine.
a scale.
Fine.
Here.
There is a scale, but what I'm trying to explain to you is that imagine a world where the Big Mac looks the same every time, with the same amount of sauce, the same amount of pickles, the same amount of lettuce. It looks the same every time. Instead of the energy being put into it of somebody who hates their manager, hates their job, hates these customers, et cetera, et cetera. Now, think about a doctor that did not have to do 20 surgeries in the last 14 days and is not exhausted when they get to yours and your heart and the inch or the millimeter that it takes to cut this artery and that artery, and they made a mistake and it's like, okay, you die, and they tell your family she didn't make it. And guess what? The odds of you not making it were already, not perfect anyway. So your family's like, dang, and then you're dead and it's over. But really, that fucking doctor got his dick sucked last night and fucking was on coke and could not go to sleep. And so by the time he got to the fucking hospital to do your surgery, he was fucking sleepy. He was tired. He was moody. He was angry. And he fucking made a mistake.
See, here's the thing: is that you're assuming that AI doesn't make mistakes. That's not true. AI still makes mistakes.
Right.
And that doctor
does it make mistakes?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Robots.
Yeah, it still makes mistakes.
Oh.
That doctor might have troubleshooting. So they have this hospital in India, and all they do is heart surgeries. It's all they do. So this doctor doesn't do anything else but heart surgeries. And it's to the point where even though they only go to medical school for 5 years in India, as opposed to like our 8 to 12, this guy, that's all he does. And so he's really, really good at heart surgeries. And so if something goes wrong, like, we're not all the same as, if there's a troubleshooting event, that dude that has spent however long, and maybe the coke's helping. Maybe he had coke right before the surgery. Maybe that's helping him be like, I remember this happened a few years ago, and he can now troubleshoot that event that's happening with you.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
don't you think that we need his knowledge and memory to be in a program so that he can never, his level of expertise can never pass away? Like we lose some of the best surgeons, some of the best doctors to age, to death, to Parkinson's, to all kind of things. But their brains and their understanding what they know, and we could upload their knowledge or have them to be a teacher to AI, right? You teach one AI, that AI could teach 1,000.
There's so much in a human brain, and this is where this clip from Michio Kaku on Joe Rogan.
I'm just saying, right? But can you imagine sending an AI to school for 2 years?
The AI just well, the thing is, our brain works more like a quantum computer, and did I not put this here? So our brain works more like a quantum computer, and the AI, it still can't do everything that a advanced human can do yet. So, oh, here it is. So he's saying once we get quantum computing, he's saying once we get quantum computing, we might be able to get an AI that, you know, is fantastic like that. But I think that you think just like a man can teach or a person can teach their protege something, and they teach them everything. They teach them for years. That protege still may never be as good as the mentor, or the protege might be better depending on the circumstances.
But if we can get AI, I'm not gonna give up on this because I hear what you're saying. We can get an AI protege. If I was a medical teacher and I was teaching a class of all AIs, right? But not only the AI, each AI was attached to an engineer, right?
Mhm.
That was able to make the AI to develop the code that was the code that was, the map for the action, right?
Mhm.
Wouldn't that wouldn't you as the person getting surgery, wouldn't that make you feel good to know that you don't have to go to India because the intelligence that Indian doctor has, this machine has done 1,000 heart surgeries just in the last month because it can do them without getting tired. It can, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's the risks are not as rewarding as the upside of what this AI could be. And that's the problem. The real issue is that if it was just all villain-esque, they would just do away with this so easy. But what it can do positively outweighs what they're going to have to regulate that it can do negatively.
I'm gonna have to see because, and I agree with you that we're going toward that. We're definitely going toward that. As far as surgery goes, that has a lot to do with robotics and how sensitive to touch it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like it took them a while to get an AI that could grab a tomato and not crush it, or not
Yeah.
AI, a machine,
Yeah.
a robot. So the AI is the intelligence, and then the machine is the actual robotics.
Right.
So that's a certain leap. Now with things like radiology, where they look at the picture and how good is the eye, it seems as though the AI is better already.
Right. And so maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Imagine if, the AI was an assistant to be like, cut this artery, cut it here. Wait a minute, don't cut it yet. Cut it now because the blood flow is gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
it could be a good
something
assistant.
like
Yeah,
that. Like almost like to where it could be a fail proof for some doctors.
to help
To
them,
help them
and
at
yeah,
least.
I definitely think that. And they did recently. They had people consult with AI doctors versus regular doctors, and because the doctors are so overworked, the AI actually did better because it had more compassion, had more time to, talk to them, and they were able to like really listen to what they were saying. So people preferred the AI doctor in that case. So there are some medical professions that, they're going to be AI soon. But surgeon, that might be a while off just because of the precision it takes, especially like brain surgeon or something like that. A lot of those guys are sociopaths,
Oh hell yeah.
psychopaths.
Hell yeah, they be looking at brains all day.
Yeah, no, like legit. They don't have emotion. They go in there like they're working on a car. Like it's no different to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very special kind of human. People, say bad things about psychopaths a lot, but when it's like a pilot that needs to land that plane at the last minute, or someone needs to do a heart surgery on someone who's, do it right now or they're gonna die, you kind of want that psychopath.
Well, yeah, because yeah, you're right. You need somebody who's not squeamish, who's not scared of you dying, but also knows how to not let you die, right? Like you need somebody that's not thinking about it in a way that's they're nervous about it and all of that. Man, I love them old Asian dudes that be looking like Shang Tsung a little bit. Like they'll be the coolest ones who be knowing some shit. Like the Shang Tsung or like the older Liu Kang type of long hair Asian dudes, little jacket on and shit. They be yeah man, they be knowing some shit. That's what's up. Anyway, guys, we gotta stop, man. This has been another episode of the CP podcast. We are back for season 2. Just so you guys know too, I've been filming a new show for Hulu in Canada for the last 3 months. Also was a co-producer on it as well as a writer, so I had a lot of hats to wear. So I had to be away, man, and it happens. But we're back. Every week we are back. So we're gonna have these episodes and kicking off season 2. We got a mirror on cam, which is dope. We got Mommy Maya in the house. And yeah, man, I'm your man CP, man. Always the questions, never the answers. Peace.